Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Amanda Hera. Kilmar Abrego Garcia will stay in jail, at least for now. A federal judge has set conditions for him to be released, but none of that will matter if he's released into ICE custody. Garcia has been at the center of a debate over the Trump administration's immigration policies. He says he was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Then he was brought to Tennessee to face human smuggling charges tied to a traffic stop in Putnam County from 2022. There are more than a dozen conditions for him to be released while the trial plays out, but he could still be turned over to ICE. His wife was at the custody hearing in Nashville yesterday. She says this has been one of the hardest things she's had to go through.
I find myself again torn from my children's, traveling back to Nashville to fight for Kilmar's freedom. And today, he misses our wedding anniversary.
Garcia's lawyers did ask the magistrate to order the DOJ and ICE to work together and not deport him while the case is prosecuted. The judge says, though, she's not sure if she has that power. A 5-year-old boy drowned in Percy Priest Lake. Police say he was not wearing a life jacket. Tobias Hennick was swimming with his family Tuesday night when this happened. Metro Police say the 5-year-old hadn't been seen for several minutes until his father found him in the water. Medics rushed him to the hospital where he died. Police say it appears to be an accidental drowning, but youth services detectives are investigating. Metro Nashville Parks says there are dedicated areas to swim and that the TWRA enforces those rules. The TBI is releasing new images of what 2 children who went missing more than 13 years ago may look like today. Chloe Leverett was 9 and Gage Daniel was 7 when their Bedford County home was destroyed in a fire. They were living with their grandparents who died in that fire. The TBI put out an Amber Alert to find Chloe and Gage in 2012. That Amber Alert is still in effect today. The TBI says they're pursuing leads in the case and they hope that these new age progression images may lead to answers.
I'm Taylor Tucker. Justin Smith and his attorney Martin Zumak appeared in federal court Wednesday morning. Smith is one of 5 former Memphis police officers charged in connection to the death of Tyree Nichols. Now, the other officers and their attorneys appeared in federal court for a status conference last week. Smith's appearance was moved because of an out-of-the-town family trip by a council member. Chief Judge Cheryl Lipman is now presiding over the case after Judge Mark Norris recused himself. Lipman set another report date for July 24th. At issue for Zumak is the sealing of documents. Lipman says documents are being filed under seal, which differs from how Norris handled the case. The deadline is July 7th.
An East Tennessee food pantry says it doesn't have enough food to meet the growing demand. The Kappa Kitchen says more families are reaching out to them for help, and they're in need of critical help themselves as several of their staple food items are getting seriously low. This comes after Second Harvest Food Bank, which delivers supplies to pantries all over East Tennessee, reported federal cuts had lowered their supply of food. Federal funding cuts also affecting food banks like the Mid-South Food Bank in West Tennessee. It's already had to suspend 40 food pantries this year. Second Harvest Food Bank in Nashville impacted as well. Beginning next week, it's getting ready to receive 4 million pounds less of the food from the U.S. Department of Agriculture that it was relying on. It's also bracing for the ending of another federal grant. Second Harvest in Nashville says support from other partners will help the program stay afloat.
The Memphis Police Department is investigating a break-in that involved a vehicle crashing into a building. According to MPD, officers responded to a break-in call at the BP gas station on Poplar Avenue near North Cleveland Street. When officers arrived on the scene, the wall of the BP gas station building had been crashed into with debris left behind. No word yet on whether anyone was injured. From the WMC Action News 5 newsroom in Memphis, I'm Taylor Tucker.
First Alert meteorologist Stefano DiPietro tracking flooding in Giles County. We've got a flood warning in Lincoln County. And then we've got the extreme heat and storms on top of all of this, Stefano.
And the storms, Amanda, is something I don't want to get lost in, you know, with all the heat and the humidity that's still to come as we go through the rest of this week and even into the weekend. So heat advisories are in effect through Friday across pretty much the entire state, with the exception of far eastern portions of Tennessee. And these thunderstorms that are coming through are, for the most part, isolated in the grand scheme of things things, but when they develop, they are very, very slow moving. And that's why flooding has become so much of a concern with any of these storms that pop up. Maybe a shower tomorrow morning. In the afternoon, we will have a few showers and thunderstorms continue to develop across the state. It's still going to be very warm. It's still going to be very humid as all of this is happening. So that is really what we're tracking very closely for you as we go through the next couple of days. Let me take you over to First Alert Live radar so we can talk about where that flooding is. And part of the reason this is happening is because a lot of these areas have just seen the same storms sit over one spot for 30, 40 minutes, even an hour in some cases. So we have a lot of flood advisories that are up right now. That's for areas like Giles, Murray, Lawrence County, and Franklin County down near Fayetteville. You can't see because it's behind that rain, but we do have a flood warning, and that's mostly going to be for poor drainage spots. So if you do get caught in a slow-moving storm, just know that will be the big concern as we head through not just today, but even into the weekend, Amanda.
All right, Stefano, thanks. State lawmakers say school vouchers give family more choice, while other lawmakers argue the program lets students already in private school get the money they were already going to spend anyway. We've learned that the state is not going to track specific things with this program. We'll share that when we come back. Tennessee will not be tracking whether students who applied for school vouchers were already enrolled in private school. The Department of Education confirmed that with me. The new program gives 20,000 eligible students about $7,300 to use towards private school tuition and fees. Lawmakers, some of them, say the vouchers give families more choice. Others argue the program lets students already in private school get a hold of the money. Half the scholarships go to students based on income. The other half go to any student in the state. So far, nearly 40,000 students have applied. Nearly half of those were for income-based scholarships. More than 150 people are losing their jobs in East Tennessee because a manufacturing plant is shutting down in the coming months. DeRoyal Industries makes hospital supplies at its Campbell County location. The company says production, though, can no longer be supported in the current supply chain landscape. Wyatt Sharp has worked at DeRoyal for more than 3 years and says he was at work Monday when he found out about the closure.
It was just a, everyday normal working day for us. We were just carrying along our business. It was one of the biggest blind sides of my life, needless to say. I think our small community is in desperate need of some good industries with some great paying jobs.
Most staff will be gone by the end of September. A few others will stay on until the end of December, when the facility will officially close for good. DeRoyal says it's hosting a job fair in September to help impacted staff try to find a new job before they close. Thanks for joining us for Tennessee in 10. Up next, we've got an extended look at First Alert weather with First Alert meteorologist Stefano